A British tourist has fled back to the UK after claiming she was raped and robbed on a beach in Mallorca. A 40-year-old Senegalese migrant has been taken into police custody in connection with the sickening act. The 21-year-old British girl says she was headed back to her holiday flat when she was attacked in the early hours of August the 7th. The 40-year-old Senegalese suspect owns a fishing boat in the port near to where the British woman and her friends had been out drinking. He allegedly started a conversation with the victim after approaching her. The girl said he then took advantage of her due to her drunkenness. Cops were swift to arrest the suspect on his boat in the early hours of Monday morning, just as he was getting ready to set out to sea. A closed court hearing was then held. A local paper identified the man by his initials BS and said the man had been held in the past by police for drug dealing. The suspect has been released on bail as the criminal investigation gets underway. This is the latest in a spate of alleged attacks on tourists abroad. A 30-year-old British woman alleges she was raped and robbed on a beach in Mallorca. The woman said she had agreed to go down to the beach with a man she had met when a second unknown male appeared and forced himself upon her. The sexual attack ensued and the men allegedly fled with her belongings. Last April, an Italian man was arrested on suspicion of raping a British woman on a beach in Magaluf. Cops in Mallorca are also hunting for another Senegalese man accused of the rape of a British tourist on a beach on the 24th of July. The suspect in the case is an African street seller, accused of having taken advantage of the victim's drunkenness when he found her lying in the street alone after separating from her friends. Sex attacks on British women abroad have gotten so frequent that the government has released a guide for victims on what to do after an attack in Spain. The guide tells victims to remember it's not your fault. Victims are instructed to contact authorities and reach out to the British consulate, who will assist with empathy and without judgment. Tourists are encouraged to ensure they get a paper copy of the police report and are told how the judicial process works. The spate of attacks highlights the dangers presented to young women travelling overseas. In the lead up to the Paris Olympics, a young Australian girl was raped and tormented by a group of African migrants in the city, just a stone's throw from the Moulin Rouge. One of the alleged attackers followed the distressed victim into the kebab shop she had ran to for help and placed an order for himself for food. Furious tourists set upon the man after learning of the attack. The government has brought out a guide for women travelling overseas which warns tourists to beware the dangers. Nicholas Dunning, GB News.